Calling all units, calling all units. Donut shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Salud, gentlemen.
Some good juice.
Yes.
Bring it, baby.
Good stuff. Murder was the case that they gave me. Yeah. Is that your theme song?
It's come up a lot in my my time.
You got your playlist?
It's come up.
It is one of the best. Yeah, like the backing track for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So West Coast.
Yeah, that's his intro music when he walks in
it's
the
like
door.
you're walking through when you're like in the inner city. You're going to a homicide scene, and you get out of my detective vehicle and walking down the street, and you hear it from the background on the third floor.
Murder was the case.
Yo, Freddy Ponce. I'm saying, what up? Yeah. Murder was the case that they gave me. Loud as hell, screaming from far away. What up, Freddy? I'm like, oh my God, bro.
Yeah, baby. Hey, baby, that's first 48. That's big time.
Well, it appears that we're going to do the intros going that way then.
Oh,
because
okay.
he just did an excellent intro interview.
Is that what's going on?
So, what's up, guys? Nick from Nick Off Duty and other channels.
Yeah. What's up, Justin? This is Justin, so from Florida.
And I got my man here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Freddy Ponce. Fred. Close friends call me Fredo.
Fredo.
We're like family, like real tight, like my inner circle.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about.
So I'm good with Fred.
Damn. So I only know you as Freddy. So what does that make me?
Fred.
We're
We're
just
just by the end of the week, get out of here. We'll see what happens.
Let's see
A
what
work
happens.
acquaintance.
Brought you on because you're a man that knows a lot about murder. That's right.
Murder,
We're
baby.
talking murder.
Talking murder, baby.
And you have a podcast.
Talking Murder podcast, yeah. Talking Murder. That's what we do. Talk about murder.
Talking murder. Man.
Yeah. I'm just gonna.
You're just like, wow, this is good.
How many times are we gonna say murder?
No. But it's talking
It's
murder.
gonna come up a
So,
couple times, yeah.
anyways, so you're recently retired.
Yeah.
Right? But you have an extensive career in police work and in the homicide unit. That's what we're going to be talking about today, correct?
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so...
How many years?
24 years with Miami PD. And with the homicide unit, I was there about 15 years with them. 10 of those years I did midnight homicide.
Ooh, 10 years on Midnights.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Pretty cool, but...
Yeah, it changes your personality, man.
Yeah, I
It changes
remember
personality.
when I first met you, you were...
Yeah, you get a little grumpy. Man, look,
Grizzly.
And a lot of police officers, or investigators, or guys who, depending what the job there is that they do, this job makes you hard, man. You change. It's like before you were a cop, you were probably like the nicest guy in the person.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I love you. You're beautiful. Hey, look how nice you are. Welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, nice seeing you. Man, and then after the years drop down on you, and especially the what you see every single day.
Unit you were working, that is.
Listen, dude, and any homicide guy will tell you this. The 15 years that I was there working, I saw death every single day of my working life. In those 15 years of murder.
Yeah.
And then when you get the patrol guys, they see their murders and their bodies and stuff like that. But when you get in specific cases like that, and we're talking about from natural death to murder, homicides, all different types of murders.
Yeah.
But it's every single day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you're going to see something when you come to work that day. You're going to get something.
Yeah. So imagine Midnights. You're on Midnights, and you're a homicide detective for like 14, 15 years. So I see this guy in the lunch line, and he's just like,
Yeah.
So, and then you went to training towards the tail end of your career, and what a switch, His personality came out. You see him.
Blossoms.
He's about an awesome dude, very knowledgeable. And that goes to
Sure,
show.
you're right.
Say it again.
Sure, you're right.
Yeah, no, you are. It's a very knowledgeable dude. Otherwise, you wouldn't
Thank
be
you,
sitting
man.
here with this awesome patch that, by the way, shout out.
Appreciate
Check it
it,
out.
appreciate it. Thank
Criminal
you, man.
Investigations Training Group. That's right. Shout out. We got patches. People are going to be like,
Thank
hey, can
you.
I get one of those patches? You got 100. You got about 100,000 more of those. So we're going to get a whole bunch of people asking
All
for those
right, all right.
patches.
We'll make it happen.
So 14, 15. You said 15 years?
Yeah.
Homicide unit. It takes a toll on somebody. Like you said, you're seeing death every day. And so before being a homicide detective, what was your career like? What did you do? Any units? What kind of units, or just patrol?
So, yeah, prior to we can backtrack now before the PD. Yeah, I did the whole problem-solving team thing, and I did about 3 or 4 years on patrol up in Liberty City and Little Haiti area before doing that, all with the intent of coming up to in investigative division. And then prior to police, I was a private investigator. I did some military time, did 4 years in military.
What branch?
Navy.
All right.
I was not the Gauls type. I wasn't the tactical guy.
Yeah.
Who later in my career became the awesome guys to have on your team. And I'll tell a story later.
Yeah.
How those guys are, how awesome those guys are. And then I first started at 19, 20 years old working security, internal theft, investigations, and then I got into the PI stuff, and that's where my thinking of what I wanted to do for work, and two important things happened in my life, two big impacts happened in my life. One when I was about 19, 20 years old, and then we'll talk about the other one later because it may come up later. So I'm working at this big retail chain store. I won't say the name. And one of the investigators, security people that work there, they said, "Hey, we need a witness over here." I said, "What's going on?" We need to go interview this employee for a theft case. He stole some stuff. Just sit in, shut up, don't talk. So he starts interviewing the guy, and he's like spilling his beans. I'm like quiet, saying in my head. And he goes, I'm like, man, what's this guy saying, man?
Yeah.
He's confessing,
Yeah.
And I'm telling myself, shut up, dude.
He's confessing to everything.
You're in trouble, man.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to the investigator, what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's like persuading this guy, to confess. And I'm like, and I'm not turning and thinking to myself, oh, this guy's a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's good. That was at 9. I was 19 years old when that happened. Since that day, I was hooked.
Move your mic over a little, straighten it up. There you go.
I was so hooked.
Yeah.
From that day. I'm 52 years old now. Ever since day, I have been obsessed with anything that has to do with interviewing, with interrogation, with anything that has to do with persuading people to tell you things, or identifying behavior and nonverbal behavior from people. I'm just like stuck. So.
Oh God! What is he gonna get out of us?
As Justin starts moving in his seat, sitting straight up.
I'm already getting nervous.
Oh
yeah.
That's big.
So you're a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we got croquettes. Look how quick they appeared.
I'm trying to think back, and man, I think this was all a clever ruse and just to get onto the podcast. Like he set little planted seeds all this time.
Yeah.
He manipulated me. Oh, wow, he is good.
Oh no!
But all right, so
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah.
19, you got hooked.
So yeah, you get hooked, man. So then I answered some ad on a classified newspaper go to an investigative agency to be a PI. I answered up. I got hired for that. That guy sent me to my first interrogation school, and I was like, oh my God, this is my dream. I didn't even know that existed. I just know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been to like 22 interrogation schools, and I repeated some over and over again. And now I teach it.
Wow.
I teach that 40-hour course to our investigators. But yeah, you become so obsessed and a passion creates within you that now you know what you're going to do for the rest of your career. So from then on, I figure, man, who's like the worst criminals that I can get to interrogate that I would want to do that as a career?
Yeah. And
I figured, look, so you know what? I'm gonna try to make a move, see if I can become a sexual battery investigator or a special victims unit investigator.
Right, yeah.
That was my thing. It was like, that's what I wanted to do. I want to get a child rapist or a pedophile and get those guys to confess. That was like my mission.
Yeah.
So then, and then I took off, went to the military, came back, did some more PI work, and then I got on the PD.
Nice.
With that same focus, even while I was gone in the military, going away, going to all these different countries, like I knew what my focus was, what my studying was, what I need to do, and I went for it. That's like I had taking that passion with me, you know.
Yeah.
You don't go chase passion; you take that with you wherever you go, you know.
Good advice.
So, yeah, it was pretty cool. So I tried to get into the sex bat unit, but man, there was some dinosaurs in there, man. You can't get out. You can't. You're like interviewing. Those guys won't leave. Those investigators, they won't leave that unit. And I'm stuck, man. I was like, I can't get in there at all.
That's a huge thing now that these guys that are on now, they don't understand because we have a fairly young department now, and positions everywhere open. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and be a sex bat, special victims detective. Nah, today I'm gonna be. Next week I'm gonna go over here. You couldn't get a morning shift on patrol. You had to have at least 20 years on. Now it's 3 years. You get a morning shift on patrol. So I understand where you're coming from, especially when you go up to homicide. I know to get into homicide back in the day was tremendously hard, big time.
But and part of that, but when you fix the mic, with all of that, you know, like what you were saying before, like the dinosaurs or the guys don't want to come out. I mean, I would think that sex crimes would be one of the most mentally draining and pulling on your emotions and some of the sick stuff you see. Why do you think that those guys wouldn't come out? Or why do you think people would stay in that unit like that? Why isn't there an attrition every couple years?
Well, look, for those guys, and we're going to get into the qualities of investigators on a bit, but when those guys, and the thing is that the guys that were there is that they were really, really good investigators. I'm not talking about a guy that was slugging and he's looking to hide somewhere. I'm talking about guys that were so good. They made it so good for them not to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And when you become a really, really good investigators, all the units want you. They want you. They need you. I want you to train my guys. Come here, come here.
Yeah.
They start pulling you different directions. And those guys were just there for a very long time. And they were still active. They still had the passion for the work that they did. And they had results.
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask, hey, how many cases did you clear this year? Or where are we at? This guy, they had answers. They were really good at what they did.
That explains why Olivia Benson is still on Law and Order SVU. Okay. All right, I got you.
Yeah, So I couldn't get on sex bat. So I said, well, look, you know, what's the next best thing? You know, I get sex bat cases that offenders that kill their victims. Let me try to go to homicide.
It's a good second.
Yeah.
It's a good second.
And that took 3 different interviews to get in. And back then, it was like if there was an opening to go into a homicide unit, it was like the line outside the door was how many people wanted to get in.
It's like a Black Friday.
It was like. And now you try to recruit a guy, and he knows the reality of what the job is asking you to do, and you're not going to get it.
No. It's because of the vlog. Because I shouldn't have covered so much in the vlog. My bad. I ruined a whole bunch of units. I took away the magic.
Yeah. So then after eventually the third time around, they got sick of seeing me so much and just hanging out and watching everybody we were doing, and then I finally got a spot in.
So in that agency, do you just go right in there, or were you already doing, another form of investigations?
So I had that's a good question. So I already had the experience of my own background with my investigations. I was attached to, they had like an environmental environmental crimes unit. I started that. We wrote the DOs on that. We trained those guys back then on that. That was like in 99 or 98.
DOs are departmental orders, which essentially governs the unit on how to perform their duties.
So kind of creating the unit and creating how it functions.
Yeah, like the rules and regs. And if you're in this unit, these are the rules and regs.
So was that, like you started the job patrol obviously at first, and you had said you did like the neighborhood team and you worked in those different areas. So you did get into investigations.
So when I was in that environmental unit, I was part of investigation, but we weren't on the 5th floor where all the investigative units. We were detached in a different building, so I wasn't really connected. So, part of when I teach my investigative students or patrol guys that want to go into investigation, I said, and something that I learned how to do in the military, and I said, look, you want to go somewhere, people got to know who you are. Yep. One, the guys that you're going to work with, They got to know who the type of person that they're going to work with. What personality is that person? Can I work an investigation? Can Justin and Nick work with me?
Yeah.
And they want to come over. I got to know who you guys are. I'm not going to go chase you down. I may want to recruit you and tell you. I'll tell you one time.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, by the way, we got an opening.
Yeah.
And what I would expect is that you come and visit our unit, hang out.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you guys up to? What's going on? One thing that the military taught us is good note taking, good scribing.
I see, man. You're scratching out a whole bunch of notes. You got here already on our second page.
I gave him the notebook, and it's the most used notebook so far.
So what I did was I said, you know what? I'm going to start going up there and bugging these guys. Let them get to know me. So what I would do is I go see Tamayo, Ford, and all the badass investigators right up there.
Yeah.
And they were my partners for a very long time. And I said, and Chiki, and I said, hey, let me sit with you. Talk to me about interviewing. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about crime scene. Talk to me about, and I started creating a log. I was a navigator in the military, so I created a log. 1 hour with Nick. Nick talked to me about crimes. Boom, Nick, can you initial that for me? So I did that for months and months, and me trying to get into the unit.
Yeah.
And then when I went to my board interview meeting, I had the book with me.
Yeah.
And then you bring all your certificates for the course, and then I showed it to them. And then I went like this.
Yeah. Like, this guy's a nut.
This guy's crazy.
And
then I was like,
a beautiful mind
another third time
type of
around,
character.
yeah.
Oh well. So you were. I mean, it shows, man. You're jotting notes down as we're talking. I think you're talking. Not even looking at the pad, and you're scribbling down.
You come up with ideas, man. You can't. And you bring good thing about taking notes. You're sleeping at night and you can't sleep because a great idea comes up.
Yeah.
Don't freaking go to sleep, man.
Yeah.
Have a pad next to your nightstand or get up and go write it down, and now you can sleep like a baby because it's here.
Right. I do that all the time.
My ideas come to me either when I'm driving or I'm in the shower for some reason. I don't know.
Phones
Phones
are waterproof now, bro.
Most vulnerable, butt naked. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be hilarious to do a video like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, anyways, to go back, I wanted to be in Homicide. And I don't know if it was for the wrong reasons, but when First 48 was on our agency, I was like, I want to be on that TV show. I think I'd be good. And then they took it away. I was like, just do a vlog.
Yeah.
But that's something that you were on for a while, right? First 48?
Yep.
So how was that, man?
There were a good group of guys that we had production with them, with us, and they had to we had to call them. Whenever something went down, they had a call. They brought them in. They put them in a beautiful apartment there in Brickell.
Yeah.
And they were field producer guys.
Yeah.
Normally, you see one guy all day in a day shift. He'd probably clear by 8 o'clock at night. And anything that would happen overnight, we would call them and they would show up to the scene, wherever the scene was. In the beginning, it took a while for them to get adjusted of how we work.
Yeah.
Be careful when you're walking on the scene. You're not stepping on anything. And then when we tell you to put the camera down, you're going to put the camera down and you're going to stop recording.
Yeah.
Then we just talk about sensitive things that don't need to be aired. And
What kind of sense? Like victims and family members?
Mostly strategy.
So, all right, that's something that people don't know. Like, oh, these guys are telling, they know everything. I could just watch First 48, and now I know how to get away with the murder. But there was some strategies that you guys were.
Listen, more power to you, but you can watch every single crime show there's on TV now. There's about 100 of them. But the day you decide to commit a crime, we'll see what's going to happen to your body. And you're going to remember all that crap that you think you learned.
Okay,
Right.
So
the consequences does something to your body. When there is a consequence that you know ultimately something's going to happen to you, somebody's going to come knocking on your door one day, the pores open up and you start to freak out. And while you're committing that crime, or even after you commit the crime, so
physiological
I could care less.
responses,
Yeah.
your body physiologically responds. You see the artery pumping maybe.
Those are stressors. Those are called stressors. Yeah.
So what if they're just nervous? Is there? Can you?
So are we talking about interrogation now?
No. I know we're gonna get there, but I'm just saying some tips. Like what if they're just nervous? What I've been watching a lot of the episodes and I touch my face whenever I talk.
Right. So
totally does.
Right. So you got to establish
Sit on your hands.
Right. So you got to establish a standard, right?
Yeah.
You're a behavioral standard for somebody before you try to define what these stressors mean, if they mean anything.
Okay.
So you want to know what they look like at their natural state.
Okay.
And how they behave in their natural state.
Yeah.
So that should be casual conversation, like me just checking you guys out. You're out chilling out, or we'll have a normal total conversation. Maybe later you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah. When
And
you're like, hey, let me see your search history on your phone. What? What?
Yeah, but he already knows what our baseline is.
Yeah.
He's already seen us
Yeah, yeah.
eat. He's already watched us drink coffee.
I guess that's all the notes are about.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, let me show those notes, man.
Yeah.
No, see, but his handwriting is of a style that it's kind of a glyph.
Like a
and
doctor.
You can't really tell.
Yeah, like a doctor.
Yeah,
Only he can read it.
you take bullet notes. You don't want to take your suspect will read upside down and take you watch what you're writing.
Do you purposely do that, where you just have it out and you're writing down like totally lying, and they're like, oh my god, he's on to me.
No, I just write bullet notes to myself because I mean I know everything's recording.
Yeah.
We can go in more detail about interrogations. Yeah, I know everything's recording, and I rely also on my partner. My good partner is in the monitor room taking notes and not leaving that room, because when you're in the box, when we call the box, when you're one-on-one facing a killer,
Yeah.
it's very easy to Monday morning quarterback, and we like that in investigations. I like it when my partner's there taking notes, because I know that I'll take a break somewhere in between, and I'll come to him. What did you see that I didn't see?
Yeah.
And he may say, hey, by the way, you didn't ask him what kind of gun he had.
Yeah.
Or you didn't ask him the color of the gun. And I totally missed it. And now we're in it. He's sharing the information that he observed. And then I go back in and I brush it up, or I clean it up, whatever I do. But if I come outside and he's not there when he was supposed to be there, we got serious problems, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to go down. We got problems.
Well, speaking of a break, let's jump right into a break. We'll take a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Justin. Wanted to thank you. You guys have been huge. Blackout Coffee let us know that you've been killing it over there on our website. Thank you very much. They've even offered a new code for us. It's DSP20. That's going to get you 20% off your order. So DSP20 is going to grab you 20% your re-up of your coffee now that you're probably finished with that first bag. So go over to our website, donutshoppodcast.com, or hit up blackoutcoffee.com to get your 20% off with DSP20. Thanks. Now back to the show.
All right, and we're back.
Yeah.
So I want to
that?
clarify some things, because some smaller agencies, or they don't have a large number of officers. They have a general investigations unit where they just kind of have maybe like a serious crimes one, and then a
Violent crime unit, yeah.
Violent crime unit where they investigate that. At larger agencies such as ours, we have an entire division, a CID division that is dedicated to that, investigating. So you have a burglary unit, or burglary detectives, robbery detectives, assault detectives,
Special
homicide,
victims.
special victims units, economic crimes, like white collar crimes. So to become listening to these officers or future officers out there aspiring to be into homicide unit, what is the route? How should they go about it? How do you look? What is the recruitment process to get a detective in the homicide unit? What are you looking for?
Right. So yeah, definitely, most definitely, if you can get into an investigative unit prior, I would strongly recommend that prior to get into homicide, because you learn so much of what is already needed that when we bring you in, we want you up and running. Okay, I don't want to have to tell you, hey, how do I go talk to a witness? Should I go knock? Do I go in my car? Do I call them to come? I want you to already know these things. And these investigative units, the investigators that are there, they're amazing guys that will stay there the whole career, and they're really good at what they do and great for networking. But if your end goal is to get to homicide, yeah, most definitely go there, stay there a couple of years, and then start doing what I was saying before. Is like, you got to be able to, you got to know that you really want homicide, okay? One thing about being a successful homicide investigator, what I'm looking for is, does this person really want to come here? What are the reasons that you really want to be here? So if you're constantly coming around and finding out what's going on in the unit, then I know, okay, he's got an interest. But you know, in police work, we have our slogan that you guys see it everywhere. It's protect and serve. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to understand what service is and what that means for a police officer. and what that means, what you're going to do for the community, and in our case, what are you going to do for your victim or your victim's family?
Yeah.
So, and then when you understand that, what that truly means, then now you're carrying something with you as you're doing your work, your investigative work.
Yeah.
You're responding for somebody that has absolutely no power, a victim's family, a victim's mother. They rely on you to get subpoenas, get warrants, go hunt a killer, bring them back, do the home investigation, do the crime scene, and then interrogate the guy. They can't do that.
No.
So that person's got to be able to do that. So what's your driving force? You know, what motivates you to sustain those many years in a unit, and what are you going to bring to the table to do that? And you bring that service with you, and you hang on to something that's going to be the driving force. For me was victims and victims' family. This is and it just brought up my second part of the second impact of my life. What happened to me? I think it was like about the second year I was in homicide. Get a murder of this kid, West Coconut Grove, and I go knock on the door to go make the notification. By the way, two of the worst things that you can do in police work is direct traffic, and make a death notification to a family.
Yes.
Shout out to the Motors guys.
Yeah. Brutal out there.
I like direct traffic.
So I go knock on the door, and when she opens the door, when she sees me, she drops to her knees and holds her stomach like this. And I catch her, and I said to her, "Are you the mother of?" I won't say his name. And she just bawled out. Dude, right there, I was like, "What the hell's going on here, man?" I'm like, "What am I doing, man? What is going on? What are we doing?" And it was like, man, that was like the impact for me. It was like, this was it. That was my hook that got me to me understanding why I'm doing the job that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it for victims' families.
Yeah.
And I was able to, then that's how I developed my investigative structure, with that support. Now, if you let's say you talk to a crime scene investigator, the guys that collect the evidence for us, their driving force is that they found a fingerprint on a crime scene. And they show the tape with the print. They show it to each other. Hey, look. They're like, wow, that's amazing. And that was like another one. Yeah. And then they get DNA, and then they hear that they got a DNA hit. They have a celebration. They go party, and you got a hit, or you got a print. Yeah. That's what moves. That's what moves them.
Drives them, forces them. Yeah, that's what.
And it pushes and pushes and pushes. So you got to have a driving force to push you, to sustain you in the business. If you're gonna come into the unit for the glamour, or you want to look really sharp everywhere, you can forget about it. Yeah. Oh, I want to go there because I want to go become a supervisor, do something else. We don't have time for that, man.
Chasing the high, man. You're chasing. That was your driving. That was essentially your high. Is that you're like, you know what? I get a kick out of, and it might sound like a positive thing, like this is, but when it boils down to it, you felt good helping out these victims. Is what I'm saying. It's like I felt like, and that's one of the reasons why I became a police officer. Is I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies. I like standing up for the victim, the person that is so whenever my thing was robberies, I hated people that stuck a gun in somebody's face and basically bullied them, picked them,
rendered them powerless.
Yeah. So I'm like, who are you to do that to another person? So that's why I became a that was my driving force.
Other people do it in the name of justice. Look, there's laws in place.
Yeah.
Who the hell do you think you are that you're gonna come over and kill this person and you think you're just gonna get away with it? No. Yeah. Guess what, buddy? Guess who's coming?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So, and people drive on that. It's against the law. You can't do it. And that's their force. That's what they take with you.
Yeah.
Great. More power to you. That's what moves you, gets you up to come in and start barking orders to your team. And then you bring that with you to the investigation. It's in the structure and how to conduct the investigation.
So that's something that you should have, a quality that you should have when pursuing becoming a homicide detective. So for instance, myself, I was Probably the wrong reasons. The first 48 thing, I saw that, you know. I like police work. I'm sure that I would have been a great homicide detective. No, you know, I'm not doubting myself. But I think it was the wrong reasons. Is like I always wanted I saw like the Ruggierios and the Bosches and the Ponce, and I'm like, man, that's cool that they get to show themselves being badasses on it was an A&E, right?
On A&E TV, yeah.
On A&E. I was like, man, that would be awesome. But probably the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So it still worked out for you.
You know, you may not have a good reason in the beginning, but you're gonna get to know it real quick.
Oh,
like
without a doubt.
real quick, real fast. You're gonna get slapped right in the face real quick with a really big time profile case. Like as soon as you get there, bam,
Yeah.
you're the lead. Justin and I are working for Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, what do you want us to do?
That's something that I was gonna ask you, because you have that if you're in a high crime area, which I know you did 14 years or 15 years, sorry, in homicide. There was a point in time where crime was high and murders were up. So you get a case, right, and you get these victims' families, right, but then all of a sudden you get another call the next night, and you got another case, right, and then another night,
right,
and you got another case.
Yeah, the nights don't stop.
And then they don't stop. So what happens to the fifth, sixth night? So explain that workload, managing the workload when you have multiple cases. And I think you touched a little bit on it, like we're the backup. You guys are the backup. I'm primary. Now we're the backup. You're primary. Is that how it went?
You can include a lot of coffee in between them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how the structure works.
Speaking of coffee, no, I'm just kidding.
This is how the structure works. So we could be, let's say we could be a team right here, the three of us, and then we got a supervisor that works in the team. So with the way the rotation works, let's say there's 6 homicide teams. Each team has 3-4 guys, a supervisor, and the teams aren't called 1 through 6, 1 through 7, whatever the team number is. We're team 1. On January 1st of every year, team 1 is on the board for the next whodunit murder, where we don't know who the killer is when the murder happens.
So that's a thing.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called a whodunit murder.
The whodunit. Then the smoker is that once the murder happens, we already know who the killer is because we have either he was captured or we have a witness on scene that says, I know the name of so-and-so, he's the killer.
It's usually domestic.
They could come in all phases, but yeah, those are big. Yep, for sure. So the rotation work is, okay, we know that Nick is within our team. We're going to have a rotation. Mm-hmm. Nick, you're going to take the first murder that comes for the year. Then it'll be Justin. Then I got the third one. Once you get the murder, now the team 2 is on deck.
Okay.
And we call them and tell them, hey, we got the murder. You guys are next. And then that rotation goes around. That rotation can go as fast as 3 days or a week or 2 weeks or even a month where team 1 hasn't picked up another murder.
Okay.
But it could be like this, or like Justin, Freddy, back, Nick, boom, boom, 2 and 2, team 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it comes back to us.
So we don't each take turns being primary on a murder, and then it goes to the second. So for instance, I get a murder, you guys are my backups. Team 2, you're on deck, or is it I get a murder? He gets a murder.
No.
Then team. No.
It's the other way around. Team 2 is on deck for their next murder.
As soon as one drops in the middle of us, the next one goes.
So
you could say that first one is a whodunit. So now you're lead on a whodunit. I'm going to assume that a whodunit is much more detailed because you've got a lot more research to do.
Yeah.
So then the next team, then they get a smoking where they know. So they might kind of have it more or less wrapped up.
Yeah. Well, the worst case scenario is, let's say it's a Monday, we work a day shift.
Yeah.
Right. And we picked up the whodunit on Monday, and then Tuesday we work a normal day shift, and a smoker goes down in our shift. We got one of us 2 will pick up that smoker, so you can work on your whodunit. So on the second day, if it's a smoker on duty, Justin and I will pick up that murder while you work the whodunit.
So that's what I was saying. So
now we have 2 murders, and the 3 of us are
working.
working.
Where did team 2 go?
They don't pick up a smoker because it happened in our shift.
So a smoker is essentially, we know who did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that one
and
stays
it happened
in.
on your shift.
Okay, so and then that stays
with
in.
the shift, who's
But if
ever
it's
working.
A whodunit that we have, and then a whodunit again, that one goes to.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, so there you go. Okay.
And we're back.
So yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll pick that up, and then it's we might be able to handle it with a little less manpower probably, but
Okay.
so you got to
Yeah.
do a lot of juggling, and
It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be home on your days off, whatever, but you're up for the next whodunit. You can't go on vacation. I don't recommend you going to bars and hanging out too much at the bars. But I won't say that if it's happened or not in the past. But
He's retired. He could say that.
It's tough.
It may or may
It's
not
tough.
happen.
Let's, let's jump on a break real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of get that back on track, and we'll be right back. And I mean, this stuff's getting riveting.
All right. That thunder?
We'll be right back.
thunder, baby.
Hey, come here. Come here. No. Bring it in real close. I got something for you. Did you subscribe yet? Right down there. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, because you got to know when we're going to give you a show. Do it. Go now. Go now. I'm waiting. Come on. Right there. All right, back to the show.
All right, guys. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Freddie,
yeah.
Congratulations. You're going to be the first guest where I pulled the audience to interrogate you and ask you questions. And I'm going to let Jay take the first question. And then what we're doing is essentially over on Nick Off Duty, and then we're going to start doing it on Donut Shop Podcast. I just have a little more following right now on Nick Off Duty, but eventually the Donut Shop Podcast, I have a feel is going to take off.
Huge.
But anyways, we want to pull them. We want to get them involved. So I guess we'll take 5 out of the, it looks like about 50, and you can answer it short, long, however you want, however you decide. We're going to ask you the question. We're going to shout out the person who asked the question,
Yep.
and then you respond.
Roger that.
The
Bring it.
first one
Yeah.
comes from Liam Young 8080. Thank you very much for your question.
So, Liam.
What's the difference between homicide and murder? We'll hear it a lot on the news, the word homicide, and we'll hear murder too. What's
Yeah, so homicide is a death caused by someone that's other than a natural, right? So, and homicide is the umbrella that covers all the different charges that we investigate under homicide. So it could be murder, first degree, second degree murder, manslaughter, and negligent, accidental, and justified homicide. And suicides are also investigated by us, and anything that has to do with an attempted murder also, which we're following an assault team that's doing it's going to lead to a death. So very basic is, but once we get a case, we investigate every case, no matter what it is, as a death caused by somebody else, as a homicide. And then we classify them or whatever they are under that umbrella.
right? So just a random tree falling that no one cut down and someone dies, it's not necessarily a homicide because it just fell down. Unless,
but
you're
we're going to investigate it just in case there was a sniper across the street and shot that tree down.
Right.
We're going to investigate it as a wrongdoing. But that's correct. A homicide is not a charge. Nobody's charged with homicide. They're charged with a statute, with that
But if
murder.
a homicide detective shows up, it's not necessarily a murder.
That's absolutely correct.
So it's homicide is person to person, essentially. If I'm in a car and I strike you, homicide, a type of homicide, traffic homicide will come out at this point. But
Vehicular homicide.
Yeah,
Yeah,
will come out, right?
Yeah.
If
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
so, a manslaughter, you guys still investigate, and then you'll charge that person with manslaughter. So it's a homicide.
Most probably, we're gonna charge them with a first degree, and then once we've discussed with the state attorney's office how we're investigating the case, if it's gonna get brought back down. So
Okay.
we're really looking for intent. We're looking for the intent.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, let me also remind people, because we got people watching all over the world and all over the United States, and every state has their own classifications of all of these charges, and they may name them a little bit differently.
Yep.
But for the most part, there's probably a base that really kind of goes with all of them.
Right. So you got your murder. Your murder one is a premeditated murder. It could be planned out for a long time, or it could have been planned out in less than a minute.
Yeah.
And then you got your second degree murder is while you were in the commission of a crime, you killed somebody in that process of that crime. And you could be the guy, the getaway driver.
Yeah.
And I'm still charging you for that second degree murder. Or if you weren't even there, let's say you draw it on a napkin, you draw me the plans to the bank.
Yeah.
And Justin and I went and we killed everybody at the bank. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. So
What
you
if I
get
didn't
also
sign my name?
then we'll get a handwriting
I beat
expert.
the case. I beat the case. All right, I got another one. Somebody else that wants to interrogate you. I got two on this one. It's pretty good. Salty Tactical, and this one's one you could probably answer in quick fashion here. At Salty Tactical on Instagram says, do they still trace bodies in chalk like they do in the movies?
Who framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. Do they still draw the little chalk line around the bodies?
Big no. No chalking around. Never has been done. That probably has not been done since the early 50s or 60s.
Man,
Big mistake bringing. You never want to bring anything into the crime scene. Whether you may see, anybody marking something, with bringing something in the scene that's not brought in by a crime scene investigator.
Okay. Can I fire off the next one? Because that was a short one.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. And, man, this is where I get exposed because I suck at pronouncing names. But Cody Nguyen, 287, at Cody.
What up, Cody? What up, Cody?
Cody
Nguyen.
Cody Nguyen.
Yeah.
Nguyen.
Yeah.
It's like Illinois.
Yeah.
It's silent. Okay. Cody Nguyen, 287, says, how often does a homicide case become a cold case, and how do you guys handle it? So maybe you could start off by defining what a cold case is.
So, and I'll tell you real quick. Look, a case becomes cold once the leads die down, right? The first 48 hours of your case are the best hours because they have the freshest information.
Yeah.
The freshest leads. You're still talking to witnesses. You're still identifying evidence, assessing evidence, and it's all active. It's crushing. Everything's coming in. A lot of things to do. Then it starts to die down, and then it's like weeks pass and weeks pass. You still don't know who your offender is. You're not getting anywhere, and then it starts to get cold, where you're just like. You're looking at other cases, you're working other cases, even though you're working at the same time, and then the case dies, right? And sometimes you gotta make a decision. What are you gonna do? What happens is you'll see if the investigator's still working in the homicide unit.
Yeah.
The case is not technically cold because at any moment that case could still be worked on. That case can still be worked on. Once that investigator leaves the homicide unit, that case goes to a cold case locker. It gets put away. And then your cold case detectives will take up that case if a tip comes in or something like that. So the cold case are worked like this. So if a cold case investigator wants to decide one day, hey, let's see what cold case I'm going to work on today.
Yeah.
He's going to look for a case that has serology, all right? DNA, blood, anything related that can be tested.
Okay.
Or the other type of cold case that he could be looking at is a circumstantial case that has a lot of players involved. There's a lot of witnesses, a lot of people were involved that either know the offender, knew the victim very well, and it's just a lot of moving parts. Those are really good cases to work circumstantially, even if you don't have DNA.
Yeah.
You can build a timeline and surround it around this offender, and to see if it validates the different theories. So your cases are first a hypothesis is formed, and you got your crime scene with it, and then theories start forming. Right, and then those theories have to be validated either by witnesses or by evidence that's collected on the scene. It's got to support each other, and all these things start coming together, and now you start forming a theory that's making a lot of sense. So as an investigator, you got to do everything that you can to bust up that theory.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Find
challenge
holes.
you. Nick, you're going to tell me you saw who killed Justin.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be the dumbass to not believe you or to believe you 100% in case you are lying and trying to frame it on somebody else. Right? But I'm going to listen to your story. And whatever it is that you tell me, and you say it to be true, I'm going to try to break that up to see if I can.
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, then it must be true, and now I got a strong theory of what that case is. and that's how we follow that investigation.
All right, and that's with
Circumstantial
cold case
cases.
or
All cases, you do that, but circumstantial cases are so awesome because so many people. When I hear, hey, we got a murder, bank robbery, we got a drive-by driver, 4 guys in the car, bring it on. I love it. I love it. A lot of people involved. I'm in it.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like interesting, especially for a cold case, because once time goes by a little bit, people's mentalities may have changed, their allegiances may have changed. They may not have talked to you probably in that first 48 or the first 2 months or 2 years, and then when you reapproach it, maybe they've got other charges on something or they're interested. I don't know. I'm not a homicide investigator, so I probably have no clue.
Speaking.
Do you have another question, or can we
want to elaborate
spin off on that on what he was talking about?
Elaborate on that. I'm sure you got one lined up. I'll look for the second one. Okay. All right, but elaborate. I'll look for the. What are we on?
So-
3. So
Yeah,
we
I
got
think
2
it's
more.
3. Oh, well, here, I'll go with a quick one. This will be easy.
Go ahead.
Mr. Carriel asks, why don't people respect the yellow tape?
I think that has to do with that's not just homicide. It's everybody.
Yeah.
You're talking about officers respecting or civilians respecting?
I mean, hey, just...
If it's civilians not respecting, that's the policeman who's standing at that red yellow tape not doing his job.
Because there's an officer that's usually having to watch those different angles and the different
Right.
lines.
You got a perimeter, you got an inner perimeter, and then you got an outer perimeter that's got to be protected. So you're passing through one, you violated that first one, you still got to get through the inner one. But it's just knowledge in the police department, educating the community. What the job that we do, and us training our own policemen. Basic crime scene procedures on what to do and what not to do in a crime scene.
Are you putting that on me? Because now I'm in the academy teaching that fundamentals of patrol, crime scene stuff. Damn it!
Bring it, boy. I'll come by and sit down. You don't got to pay me. I'll come by and sit down and pitch in if you want.
All right, I got another question.
Go for it.
All right. Interrogation time. Cool Hand Lou, 22. All right, and this has says not Miami-Dade PD, obviously, because you didn't work there, but has
Good group of guys too.
Has Miami PD ever investigated a possible serial killer?
Ooh.
We've had several cases of serial killers. Yeah.
Any that stand out? I mean, they all should stand out, but any what's the number one weird?
I'll just go through a couple and just brief over. I remember one that Cheeky worked. He worked in the 90s. He worked the Del Junco case. Then they worked another case. A guy that was.
What's the Huco case? Real quick, how was he doing it?
There was, I believe, this is the same one where the guy was. If I'm wrong, Chica, you can call me, text me now. The guy was the offender was burning prostitutes. Oof. With this gasoline thing, and a pretty good officer of ours got the bolo, all the information out that he received, and he was out stalking, looking for this guy. Great description of the guy, what he looked like, but didn't know that he was on a bike. And then here comes a guy riding a bike, and he's got a gallon of milk on top of his basket of his bike, full of gasoline, in the same area right there. And then from there, I rolled on. I know in Liberty City, we picked one up, really young kid, juvenile. I think it was 3 or 4 that he did. Serial killers are they have a cooling off period. They kill, sometime passes by, then there's another. Not like spree killing. So that there's 3 or more murders.
You find that they get more brazen as it goes on and on. I'm not getting caught. I keep doing this.
Yeah, and that becomes all the, whatever their psychopathy is and what kind of person they are. Yeah, for sure. And then we worked one that the guy fled to Brazil.
What was the details on the young kid? What was he doing?
Shooting, straight up shooting, and they're walking around. No, he more of a power control type of thing around his area there in the Liberty Square area.
Yeah.
Just walking up on them. It would be little disputes over a stolen chain. I remember one being, and then late at night he knew where some guys were posted up at, and he just walked right up to him and shot.
What would that constitute as serial killing, or there was a motive behind it? There was a reason why he was doing it, and he was just a shooter, a killer.
Right.
Cold-blooded.
Right. So yeah. So if it's 3 or more, and there's a cooling off period where there's time has passed, even if it's a week or a day or 3 or 4 days, and then there's another one, 2, 3. After on the third one, it becomes a serial killer. The motives behind them, it could be any. It could be sexual. It could be a power control. It could be whatever need he's trying to meet that he's not getting, and he needs that, whatever that need is, and he gets a satisfaction out of it. So, in his case, it wasn't a sexual gratification or anything like that. It was more over power and establishing himself.
So, because I know gangs, they have shooters, and then so that shooter would be considered a serial killer because they have bodies.
If he's got 3 bodies and more,
3 bodies.
yeah.
So then even though he's doing it with this purpose, I guess it's the same thing as with these people that go off the rocker, like you said, and they're just psychotic and they get that need psychologically. I just need to kill this, and I get a gratification.
Yeah, remember, we're not talking about a spree killer or one-time active shooter type of deal. We're talking about guys where there's a cooling off period in between.
Yeah.
Whether they plan it, they off the cuff, or however that decision is made.
That's interesting.
It's different.
Interesting. That was is that 5?
I think we got one more. We have one more?
No, I think that
was it.
I'm sure that was 5 because you came in with 1 and I asked the last one.
All right, let's wrap that up. And we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Just wanted to tell you about our friends over at D&B Tile. There's 6 locations across South Florida that can take care of everything that you need, from accessories, installation materials, marble, and of course, the best tile. Start by looking at their website, dbtile.com. And first responders, when you go in there, mention Donut Shop Podcast for 15% off your purchase. Now back to the show. All right, we are back. I'm going to throw up 30 more minutes on the clock just for anybody keeping count. Can you tell us about your first murder case, and then maybe one of your murder cases that was one of your most memorable, or homicide cases that was your most memorable?
Right. So, let me think. I'm trying to recall if this was I think it was my first case, or it was my second case that comes to mind right away. It was in the Liberty Square area, and it goes out as a triple homicide. It goes out, right? Goes out as a triple murder. We get to the scene there, and there are 2 bodies. I was like, where's the third body? I don't see where's the
Yeah.
So I go to find the officer. Hey, you called in. I heard you on the radio. He said 3. I said, Ponce, I almost turned white. I said, what happened? I said, the guy was there by the tire on the ground.
Oh,
I was touching him when I was on the radio saying, we got 3 down, 3 bodies down.
Yeah.
And the guy and the kid looks up at it and goes, I'm not dead. Oh. She said that she escaped out of her body.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story just like that actually happened to me. But she was touching him and calling, I got 3 bodies. And it's like, no, it's only 2. Sorry about that. He was playing dead.
Oh.
Because all the shooting was still happening.
Yeah.
He dove to the ground to hide. And we've heard similar stories like this on many homicides. These guys would just go down and play dead.
Yeah.
And he was playing so dead. Cops were arriving, scene secured. Nobody had approached him until she came up. and he was still...
I needed to take a quick 11, which is a personal break. It's usually when you're going pee-pee or poo-poo.
This was...
I gotta go change my undie pants.
This case was pretty crazy. So, very long case. Walkman, fingerprint, identify the offender. Find out that the offender, I won't say the offender's name or his his name. Famous NFL football star, big time, ranked 5-star football player. Was his direct uncle, connected to the kid, right? Really, really close. So I'm hunting this kid down, looking for him. He's gone. Identified, multiple witnesses, multiple kids on the street, know who he is by name, everything. Oh, and by the way, his uncle, so-and-so, was with him yesterday, so-and-so. So I said, let me see what we're doing here. So I'm tracking him down, and I track.
Can you give me a team?
I can't. I could tell you.
Is it a local team? Does it rhyme with the Miami Falcons?
No, I could tell you that week He was trying out in Miami for a local team. So there was like a special combine, but he never ended up in that team, by the way. But he was trying out that week that I was looking for that the offender. He was in town, was from Miami, but moved out of town and came for the small little workout, little small combine for him. Whatever.
We'll leave it at that. Let everyone else, if you want to be investigators, start investigating. All right, continue with the story.
Yeah. So I'm tracking this guy down. So I start getting word that the football player is hiding him. I said, man, this guy is not going to be taking this risk like that, you know? So I got to track this guy down. So I start tracking him down, and I get a number for him. Call him on the phone. I said, hey, I'm tracking your nephew down, man. The word is that you know where he's at. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I got nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about. Call ends. I go see him in person. I've tracked him down. I said, listen, I'm looking for your nephew. You need to give him up. You know, where he's at. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, all right.
Is that a charge, by the way?
What?
If you're a family member?
Yeah, if you're
hiding another family member?
Yeah, it depends what the family member is. With the mother and father, it's like they're not going to touch that.
Okay.
They're not. The state attorneys are not really going to touch that.
Kind of semi-protected.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So, I this guy's like trying to give me a runaround. I'm trying to track this guy down on my own with the other guys, right? So, I find out that he's at a Hurricanes football game, watching this game, right? So that night, I'm like, then I need to bring this guy in. I call him.
This is the star.
Yeah.
The 5 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I called the NFL player, and I said, listen, you need to bring this guy in. I know you know where he's at. And he's like, man, he's scared. I said, I know he's scared. You need to bring him in. And he says to me, can I curse?
Yeah.
And he said, man, fuck you.
Oh.
Hangs up on me.
Whoa.
Hold up.
I said, did he hang up on me?
Yeah. Hey, shit's getting real.
Meanwhile, ESPN happened to be clipped in on him at the time on the
I
sideline.
said, this guy, man. All right. So I was thinking, I said, oh, he's at the game. I said, man, who's working that football game? So let me see who the officers are that are working that off-duty football game. Because our station was not that far from Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So for me to get over there, get through the parking, the whole chaos, for me to get in there, chaos. I said, let me find out who's working the off-duty jobs, who the supervisor is, and get me to that policeman. So I said, I find out the policeman who's working the field.
Yeah.
I said, listen, I want you to find this guy. You know who this guy is? Hell yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I said, go to the field. He's going to be there walking around with his boys. And when you see him, call me. And you're going to hand him the phone. Like 20
Flexing
minutes.
on him.
Like 20 minutes, 25 minutes pass by, and he goes, hey, Ponce, he's over here. Give him the damn phone.
Please tell me you said, did you disrespect me? Please tell you have disrespected me and my family. Please tell me you get a voice like that. You need to have a voice like that when you're calling somebody like that.
I said to him, he gets the phone, yo. And I said, listen, I know what time and what day your workout is. Do you want me to show up that day at that workout? Or are you going to bring him to me? He brought him the next day in the morning, dog. With his attorney. The next morning, he brought him to the lobby. I said, yo, what's up? You can go. I got him and his attorney.
Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Mic drop. I feel like we should end the podcast right there. Mic drop.
Oh man, it was that's
awesome.
You know, and you get a lot of cases like that, man. We get a lot of high profile case.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready. You got to be a professional problem solver. That's
Wait,
what,
that was
that's
the
what
first case? Or was that
Was that the first?
That was
case or
my
the special
second
One? That was the special.
Oh, but that
case.
was one of the first ones, right?
that I ever worked.
And that's not that. So that doesn't. You have one that stands out Like more. Than
Right. So I have this other case that was
anything else before we can? It's like because people are. Is that it? Okay, that's it. I'm cool. We can move on because I get that a lot. Hey, you cut him off. You didn't let him finish. Is that it?
Yeah, I got another case.
But for the NFL,
yeah, that was done with him. The stupid thing about that also
I think it's FNFL. Like, I don't know if you
NFL.
can
We
actually,
can't really say it anymore.
is that some professional team
I don't.
or league? We don't know. We don't even know it's a professional league anymore. Is it? I don't know.
That tried out for the Miami Falcons, but we can't say the actual.
Right. We don't know what team it is.
All right, but anyways, so that's the end of that case. Obviously, you move on, and what happened with that? The guy got convicted.
Yeah. So even that same day, his attorney. Only this 3 times happened in my career is that his attorney sat in the interview, and I still got a confession with his attorney sitting right next to me.
That attorney sucks.
Bad, dude. Listen, you don't want to talk to a detective. We detect things. Don't mess us up.
Yeah.
Probably like a tax attorney too, like a real estate
Probably,
attorney.
I think it was
I
like
blew that one.
Yeah, I think it was like a family attorney.
Yeah.
Very rarely does that happen. But
No disrespect to real estate attorneys, but I'm sure
It's
most of
happened-
you don't want to sit in
Yeah.
with a homicide detective.
I don't want to say
It's happened to a bunch of some guys. They'll tell you some stories, some good
Okay.
stories. I had this other pretty cool case. It was a 21 kilo cocaine deal. These guys were a crew that ripped everybody off that was in the cocaine business,
Okay.
So if you guys dealt in cocaine, you and Justin are in the cocaine business of moving kilos around Miami back and forth.
Hey.
I had my crew that all I did was rip you guys off.
So, Justin, just so you know, we've been homicide detectives, and now we're cocaine dealers.
Yeah.
Now that what?
And podcast host.
Right. So essentially what's happened is these guys were like best friends. They grew up elementary school all through high school.
Yeah.
And one guy, they both became drug dealers. One guy, international, real big time, bringing it in from far away. And then he sets up the deal with his buddy. He was always giving them the drugs to him here in Miami. And then this guy would distribute all over. And one day he came and goes, look, you owe me money. I'm not giving you any more drugs. Hey, I'll pay you back. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm not paying you. So this guy decides that he goes, oh, you don't want to give me drugs anymore yourself? Look, I'm gonna rip this guy off. That's essentially what happened. He sets up his crew.
Yeah.
Nick, you're the guy. You set up your crew. Let me go do a rip on this guy. I'm gonna set him up. We set up the deal. 21 kilo shows up, and they kidnap. They end up kidnapping the guy. There's 7 guys in that crew that kidnapped this guy. They shot him and set him on fire in his car, blew up his car. And 7 guys. I get all 7 guys, right? In the end, I get a confession from all 7 guys. I arrest all 7 guys. What was pretty interesting, one of the things that happened in the case, there's a guy in the crew. How do I say? Okay, this is without saying his name. So Roberts, we call him, nickname is what? What do we call him?
Dick?
No, that's
Bob?
Richard. Silly
Oh, Richard. Bob.
What's on your mind?
Damn it. I blew it. I had one.
Right, but so there's.
Time to show my wit. Robert,
Well, you know what? I'll say the guy's first name because it's the guy's in prison anyway. He's not
Okay.
getting, he's gonna
Shout
get
out to the guy in prison.
Hey, thanks for listening.
So, yeah, what up? You know they're listening. Yo, they're talking about my kids, yo.
You know what I mean? Hey, whatever. We're big in prison.
Oh, you talking about my kids, bro? Oh my lord! Hey, so the guy that I'm looking for, I've been hunting this guy down for like 6 months. Right? I can't find this guy. So normally you do a little background check on somebody. You're going to get all their previous arrests, their arrest forms. In their arrest forms, if he had co-defendants, other people he's committing crimes, those names of those peoples, you get the files. Then we get
Thinking about the guy in prison, like, damn, this shit's hot.
yo, he's going to say my name.
Yo, damn, this shit's hot. My bad, bro.
He drops the headphones. This
Man.
motherfucker, I got him now. I'm getting out.
Sorry.
He said my name on a podcast.
You know when you're in class or something and like the teacher moves on and you're still thinking about it. You're trying.
Let's take a
trying to
drink. Let's
hold
take
it.
a drink.
Let's take a drink. Salute, bro. This is a good one. Oh man, if you're still listening. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Shout out.
Sorry, I'm getting it all out now.
a little thing. That's just a little thing that happened in the case.
You ever laugh like that in an investigation where you're just like,
Dude, don't ask me stuff because then I start remembering about other shit that happened in the case and I want to tell a story.
Okay, sorry.
Every question reminds me of something crazy.
Okay,
You said you were going to be the wrangler during this part.
I know, but-
You're unraveling it.
all right, sorry, continue. My bad.
No, just little
You're
things.
sent to the penalty box soon.
So little things like that. So
you were tracking him 6 months.
The name. Yeah. So the guys that I know him by, his name is Eddie, right? Guy's name is Eddie, and I tracking this guy Eddie. I don't know who it is. Cuban guy Eddie. The Cuban guy Eddie. All the guys, all the players that I already interrogated, they told me what the guy looks like, but I can't track the guy anywhere. And I take the case file home. And I'm flipping, going crazy in the house. And I said, and my friend that was with me, I said, what's up, man? I can't figure out who this guy is. You know, I don't know the guy's name. And I got laid out a table like this, all the pictures of all the players in that crew and everybody in that web of people that they deal with, that they either been arrested with or not. I got a picture of this guy. I've had this case file with a picture of this guy in my file for 6 months. And I said, I'm looking for this guy, Eddie. And then he picks up the paper. He just sat down with me, looks at the paper and says, that's Eddie right there. I said, what? He says, this guy's name is Heriberto. Like
okay.
Herbert for Spanish.
Yes.
And Heribertos, we call them Eddies. I'm like, motherfucker. I had this guy in my case file the whole time. So I go track Eddie. This case was filmed on First 48, right? So they film, and about 3 months later, then it airs. They edit in New York, whatever it goes.
Right.
And then it'll go live 3 months later, and then anything after that are a bunch of reruns, right? That's what I love about hunting killers, right? When in I don't know what happens to people, but when it happens to me, when my leads start getting really good evidence, DNA, prints, you get a warrant. That's big. You're like,
It's about to get real. Yeah.
the wrath is building within me.
Yeah.
And what's that guy doing? Kicking in with his girlfriend, smoking some weed, chilling, having a party. Yo, what up? And I'm like working. I'm coming for you. And I get this thing in me. Right? And it just happened when I know I'm getting closer. I find out who the guy is. I said, oh my God, it was just, everything just flew. I got the hell out of there, went back to the office. Let's go. We know who this guy is. We're getting the warrant, wrote up the warrant. Next day we got the warrant. Boom, we're hunting the guy.
Saddle up.
And then you get Galls and his guys dressed in black
Yeah.
to go with you. All right?
So you're out there with the SWAT team. Like, you got to identify, obviously.
Identified the guy. This is already now days later after I identified him. I get the warrant. So he's up near Miami Lakes area. We go down there. Now it's about 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Got all the Miami-Dade guys. We meet at a location, brief them. This is the house that we're going. We're going there. I'm going to the door.
So to chime in, when you're out of your jurisdiction, you don't take your own SWAT team. You have to contact the local SWAT team or the county SWAT team to come in, correct?
You contact their PD.
Okay.
Who you
Say,
go
hey,
with and whatever happens there. You got to show up with your warrant.
Yeah.
You show up with your warrant. You have a little meeting at a gas station somewhere. They go, this is the location. I got a warrant for the guy.
Yeah.
We're set up. You bring whoever you want.
Okay.
All right. This is not a...
Just a courtesy. We're going to be in your neck of the woods.
They're going to come with you. They're going to be there.
Okay.
They're going to be there. We're going to be there. And they're going to bring the people. They may bring somebody to the door with you, or however you want to set it up with your crew.
Just for people's information, he said Miami Lakes. That's actually
It's out of the
patrolled
jurisdiction.
by the county.
Yeah, Miami-Dade County.
Outside of City of Miami jurisdiction, yeah.
All right, continue.
Right. So here I come. You remember, what was that name of that movie with Tom Hanks with Green Mile?
Ooh,
Walking
one
a
of
mile,
my
walking a mile.
favorite.
Remember when he
Walking a
spits
mile.
out all those bugs out of it?
John Coffey.
Yeah, John Coffey and Boss. Yep.
I'm walking up. Dude, I don't know what it is, but it's like it's that buildup that you get from when you first meet your victim's family.
Yeah.
All right, and you're with the victim in the entire case that you're investigating it. You're with that victim's family the whole time. I bring them with me when I'm gonna go knock on that door. He's chilling.
Not physically,
Right.
but inside.
But
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Green Mile. Yeah, you've internalized all of that anguish and all of that passion from the family, and you're holding it right here in your heart.
Bringing it with
Yeah,
me, bringing
cool.
it with me. Doing when you're hunting somebody, you get that feeling like I'm here.
Yeah.
We got this. We're gonna take care of this. Go knock on the door. He's kicking back with his wife, watching a rerun of the first 48 of the same case.
Oh, wow.
Sa.
Remember me?
Hey, we got the wrap up.
Imagine this.
Yeah.
He opens the door, sees my face. I grab him like this. He urinates all over himself.
Damn.
The wrath has come upon you, has arrived
Wow.
at your door.
Are you goosebumps?
Yeah, I'm rubbing them out.
Yeah.
I'm rubbing the
You
goosebumps off my arm.
I
That's
had a
awesome,
little.
bro.
I'm not gonna. I might have urinated a little myself when you reached across the table.
Peed a little
Not gonna
bit.
lie.
It's an awesome feeling
Yeah.
to have. It's awesome closure because no matter what time of the day it is or night or morning, when you call that victim's family at 4 o'clock in the morning, we got him, or he just confessed. I'll normally call them right after the interrogation.
Yeah.
When he's off, when he's cuffed off. Right there, from there, he went to the interrogation room, full confession, then I call the family. So one time, I probably called them around 4:30 in the morning, something like that.
Do you ever get invited to Christmas or little parties from these families members?
Every birthday of their loved one that got killed, and every Christmas they call me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely been to their house plenty of times, but not any. That would have been recently during the crime.
Yeah, but
Or
I'm
just
just
after the
saying,
crime.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
over the years, people still in
No doubt.
contact
And
with
if you were part of what we were doing, I don't know if they're doing it now, but every Thanksgiving we did a box for the families of the victims of homicide cases, victims of homicide. Their family, we did the whole turkey, the whole thing, and then each investigator would deliver it to the house of their
awesome.
case.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
That connection, man. You gotta have connection somehow to the family. That's gonna drive you. It's amazing.
I'm glad that you're here saying this because this boils my blood that this side of police work doesn't get shown. And you're here telling the story, man. And I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on, man. You
telling this
guys are
stuff.
amazing, man.
And just to hear this, and this is what it's about, and this is what this podcast, what I essentially wanted it, a lot of this stuff, this untold stories, and like, hey man, we're good guys, man. I mean, there's some assholes out there, but I want to say 99, everyone says 98%, no, like 99.9% of everyone I meet are good people, and they just happen to be law enforcement officers. So, Freddie, thank you for coming on. We got 8 minutes left. I want to plug everything. First of all, if you guys want to hear more of Freddie, put it down in the comments below. I think it
More
was
of Freddie on
phenomenal.
this show.
On this show, for sure. And then where you have your own podcast, where can they find you on your own podcast?
So, Talking Murder podcast is on mixcloud.com/Talking Murder. So there, I just interview homicide investigators and get to their twist on what they did to make the case and what their motivations are. Everything we're talking about here is and we get more into detail of motivation and the process.
So this is like a baseline. You get more in depth on your podcast, obviously, because the show is called Talking Murder.
Yeah, we
so
talk.
two similar minds really just really getting into your craft.
Yeah, we specifically talk about cases. Yeah, for sure.
So where can they find that on your website? Correct.
So you got my website at freddyponce.com, or my training company is Criminal Investigations Traininggroup.com, and I have links for the podcast there as well.
Okay, so that's something else that I want to talk about. So we're gonna put all your links and all your handles down below so they can find you. But
Yeah, man.
Cool.
you coming back on the Donut Shop podcast or what?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
We got a lot of cases
Hell
to talk.
yeah. So we're gonna have you back on. But you also have this company. What's this company about, man? I mean, to see Criminal Investigation Training Group.
SIT
so-
group, yeah.
Go
Criminal
ahead.
Investigation Training Group. So, I was fortunate throughout my career since 2008, being a training, being certified as a training instructor. at the PD, where I trained on my investigation classes. And in my latter part of my career, I did that. So I teach a homicide course, criminal investigation course, interview interrogation. I co-teach a crime scene class. So I moved that around. Our region is like from Palm Beach to the Keys, where the officers come to us.
Yeah.
We also, and then the police department also has an international division of police officers that come from all over the world. So when I was with them, I had that fortunate opportunity to train with those guys, and I built a big network.
Yeah.
And that's taken me out of the country. I went to Brazil about 7 or 8 times to train them with a team of guys. We did that over there. Right. And I consult on homicide cases out of the country, and the guys that still call me working cases. Hey Fred, I got this case. What do we do? Or an interrogation. Hey, can you listen to my tape? Evaluate it.
So any
Awesome.
PDs out there looking, you do consulting and all that stuff for PDs, they can find you on your website, which is going to be down below. That's how they're going to contact you, correct?
Very cool. Yep, for sure.
So
For sure.
Jay, anything?
Hey man, no, that is awesome. I'm still just blown away by this story. I'm just over here. I'm just a fly on the wall for this episode. Sorry for those of you that want to hear my voice.
I think we both were.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke a little bit, but I was like, bro, we gotta go back on. I think we're gonna go off air here or off of video and continue talking.
I think the edit's gonna actually just be him as the baseline, and then just our once in a while it's like Nick's picture will pop up as he asks the question, and maybe.
But it was good, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, my brother.
Hell of a job. Thank you so much. And guys, go follow. We're gonna put all your links on Instagram, all that stuff. Thanks again, Freddie, for showing up.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the knowledge, boy, and
One more toast.
and for everybody else out there. Take your passion with you where you're gonna go, man. And understand what service is. All right. Cheers for service.
Cheers. And I want to end it on something that you said, and that just hit home with to take your passion with you wherever you go. And I became a police officer, and I was, and I loved the job. I shaved my head. I was gung ho for the first 2 to 3 years. But my passion was really this stuff, the video and entertaining. And then eventually it bubbled out of me, and I became what I was. And I started doing comedy again. I did the social media stuff, and it all intertwined. So anyone out there listening, stay true to who you are. Be passionate about what you do, and life will be good.
Yeah.
Life is good. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said,
No, this is very true. Fun, man.
outstanding. All right, Freddie. You're the
Thanks,
man.
everybody.
Peace out.
Calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.